I think my lived experience brings me a level of compassion and empathy that you can't learn about by reading a book. I'm Ray, I use they, them pronouns, and I'm the Senior Manager of Permanent Supportive Housing at Transition Projects. When I was 15, I was already several years into drug addiction. It was mostly sleeping in cars. I would hop fences into gated communities, sleep in their pool area, sleeping in parks, just kind of wherever I could go that felt safe at that time. I was a sophomore in high school and I dropped out. I was holding down a full-time job throughout the entire history of my homelessness. All 6 years I held down a job, but then it was still difficult to make ends meet. I was sexually assaulted 3 times by older men by the time I was 18 years old. It was a lot of hiding. It was being creative about where I could tuck myself away in the world, where nobody had to see me struggle because that was too hard for other people to watch. It wasn't about, here's this kid that needs help. It was, here's this nuisance, get rid of it. And it was just really scary, so that's when I decided to get sober. I knew I wanted to make something of myself someday. So when I was 17, I took the California High School Proficiency Exit Exam on my birthday, and I was able to get my high school diploma, so that was my birthday present to myself. When I was 18, I drove to Oregon, and I never looked back. I had a friend tell me about Transition Projects. They basically said, like, hey, I know you've struggled with homelessness and housing insecurity for a really long time. Here's this agency, and they might be able to help you. And it was very intimidating walking into that space. But as soon as I got up there and I talked to somebody, just the level of compassion that I was treated with and the understanding and the willingness to help, I knew that they were not going to let me go back to that situation. For the first time, I had somebody that believed in me. They didn't see me as a drug addict. They didn't see me as what others would label a runaway. They saw me as Ray, a person who needed help. I had a really excellent case manager that put me on the right path to make sure that homelessness was no longer going to be a part of my story. I feel so grateful for everything that I have. I have a beautiful life now, and it's because I kept going, but I didn't do this alone. And that's one of the beautiful things about Transition Projects is, like, you're never alone here. I was 32 when I got my job at Transition Projects. Wow, so that was exactly 10 years after I came here for services. I've literally never realized that before. For me, Transition Projects was the first stepping stone to get to that place of self-actualization. If I wouldn't have gotten that housing from Transition Projects, if I wouldn't have gotten connected to an education, if I wouldn't have gotten a job that made me feel like I was somebody, then I would have never been able to meet that person, have that conversation, put a name to how I had been feeling. And yeah, coming out as non-binary, stopping wearing makeup, having short hair, being more masculine presenting, getting on hormones, all of those things has just been like a really incredible journey. When you spend so much time of your life hiding and trying to exist in the shadows, it's really cool to just come out into the world confidently and just be like, I'm here, this is who I am. Honestly, the thing that has kept me sober is this moment. I was newly sober and I just told myself, like, if I can get through this, someday I can share my story and maybe it'll help somebody else. At the end of the day, we all have the same needs. We want to be loved. We want food in our bellies. We want a roof over our head. We want to be dry and not sitting out in the rain. Housing ends homelessness. But in order to get there, we need an entire community to come together, get involved, donate, volunteer, say hi to the person on the street, and I think we'll see a lot of really amazing changes.